What's going on, y'all? So listen.
What's going on, y'all? So we are back again for another episode review of Power Book 2, Ghost, Season 1, Episode 3, Play the Game. All right. So we get into the episode. I don't know. Let me just put this on the offset. Okay. I'm not really too interested. I found myself, maybe because of the history that we have with Tariq, and I just can't let that go. They're trying to make us seem or make us come more so towards Tariq's side or whatever. You know, he ruined it for me for being such a badass kid and a disrespectful ass kid. Even though I couldn't stand Ghost towards the end, I just didn't like the way that he was treating his daddy. And then I didn't like the way the daddy was treating him, but he had his reasons or whatever. But I just, he's just not the person that I'm going to automatically, because this is focusing on Tariq, gonna be like, ooh, I'm on Tariq's side. No, I found myself being more so, especially in this episode, I found myself being more so interested in the Tejada family, Monet, Lorenzo, Drewski, and Kane and Diana. Okay, I found myself, and throw a little razzle dazzle with a little bit of Ramirez up in there. I found myself being a little bit more concerned about them and interested in what their dynamic is bringing and what they're gonna do. Okay, the episode starts off with their family. We see Kane and Diana, not Diana. Diana at the crib, you know what I'm saying, with Monet. We see Kane and Drewski. I'm gonna call him Drewski. They rolling around doing collections, okay? And they get to this one particular part. Everybody's paying up. Everybody doing their dues, doing what we gotta do, having no problem. Then we get to this one particular person at this shop, and he like, yo, I ain't got it right now, but I'll give it to you next week. Kane like, nah, bruh, this ain't what we doing, okay? Push him, knock him down, punch him in the face and all that stuff. And at this point, Drew is the calmer head. As we can already tell, Kane is the one that pops off, okay? Kane is the one that don't think before he do action, okay? He's the muscle, if you want to put it like that. He has no problem getting his hands dirty. Drew, he looks more so like he has to think about it, and he's the thinker. You know what I'm saying? He's the thinker. He's the one that's trying to think of other situations before we get to the situation of violence. That's what it seems like with Drew. And also with Drew, I don't think he really want to be up in his family business. We go back to last week's episode. Was it last week's episode when what's his name? Tariq was over there at the house, and Tariq was talking about some of the studies that he was doing in art and stuff like that, and that kind of piqued Drew's interest and everything. So at this point, I really feel like Drew don't want to be up in his family business, and we're gonna probably later see some stuff happen with that. And I don't think Drew gonna be around long enough. Something probably gonna happen to Drew, unfortunately, by accident, that's gonna change stuff around. He just give me that feeling, because he don't want to do this. It's not in his heart, Moving on from that, so Drew is the calmer head. Gets him off for old boy's ass and said, you got till Friday to give me the money or whatever. Mind you, dude gave them $40. $40. What? Okay, man, 35. That's you killing me. That's as low as I can go. Okay, 35. You know what I'm saying? Bitch, if you don't know where that came from, it come on BET just about every other day. Okay? But anyway, I was like, okay, cool. So, that happens. Monet, let me just get that storyline out the way right quick. Monet is just in this pickle, okay? She's struggling with how to run the family at this point. And we see the power hold that she has and the internal struggles that she's having, because, her man is in prison. And we get to see Lorenzo in this episode. Her man is in prison, but she still gotta do what he says do. Diana shows her, Drew and Kane this live that's going on with this dude named Lil Guap, okay? And he out here, I guess he's a worker for the Lorenzo Tejada family, and he's going on live and putting all their business out there. Let me tell y'all something. That's how niggas get caught, okay? Y'all be putting y'all business out there in these songs or whatever. Y'all be putting y'all lives up there. Everything don't need to be on the internet, all right? You don't need to be doing all of that stuff. And so, therefore, Monet finds out about it. She wants them to handle it. She really wants to eliminate Lil Guap. She don't want him to be up in there no way, no how, no purpose, okay? Because she feels as though he not really serving no purpose to them. He's not bringing that much money in or whatever. They can do better with other people. But she has to talk to Lorenzo. She is not the one really making the decisions around here. Even though she's the head right now, she's still the neck, the only person that's, doing all these taking the orders. She's still taking orders too. She's taking orders from her husband, even though he's up in jail. And so she got to go talk to Lorenzo, tell him what's going on, and tell him how she feels about Lil Guap and what he doing, and he gonna bring attention to them. Okay, the feds be watching. The feds be watching, so I just want y'all to watch what y'all be posting, okay? Especially if you're doing illegal activities, watch what you posting and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? And so Lorenzo like, nah, we can't get rid of him or whatever because, his daddy took a bullet for me and all this stuff, so I gotta take him. So, he feels some obligation. He feels some guilt about things that's been going on, and that's why he keeping him on there. And then gonna tell Drew to go down there and talk to him. And he was like, Monet was like, wait a minute, no, not Drew, send Kane because they not gonna listen to Drew. And he was like, I said send Drew. She was like, okay, cool. So she told Drew and Kane what's going on. I want you to go down there and I want you to talk to him. Drew, that's what I want you to do. Okay? That's what your daddy wants you to do. So that's what you got to do. And at this point, Mr. Drewski is just in his feelings or whatever. He just don't have the heart, and you can just tell. And then, Monet tells Kane, I want you to follow him. I want you to be where he at, but I don't want him to know that you're there. Be in sight, but out of sight at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Be there, but don't let him see you. So he goes down there, and he tries to talk to Lil Guap. As soon as we see the interaction between Lil Guap and Drew, we see that people really don't respect Drew the way that they respect Kane, because Drew is not a forceful type of person. Drew tried to use reason with Lil Guap or whatever to make it seem like they cool and all that stuff. And mind you, Lil Guap is over there getting high as hell and all that. And next thing you know, everything was going fine for the most part. But then Lil Guap, after he told him, Monet wanted to give you your props or whatever, but you got to stay off the live because you're going to bring attention to the organization. You're going to get us caught up in all that stuff, and we don't need that. He gets online, and he doing what? He back on live again, and at this point, what switched it up is the fact that he almost turned the camera and Drew almost got caught up in it, but his jacket got caught in it, okay? And so that flipped the script, and of course he still wasn't giving Drew his respect and, tried to bitch him out, and Kane popped up or whatever to save the day. And, of course, because it's Kane, people scared of him, so he turned the thing off or whatever. Next thing you know, Drew leaves, and then Kane starts shooting up the place or whatever. For what reason, we don't know. Okay, just to be a ignorant asshole. That's Kane. And as they're coming out, Drew and Kane get into it because Drew is like, I had this. I ain't need you to do all that. You know what I'm saying? Just let me do what I had to do. And the cops come rolling up on them. And just so happened, by the grace of God, the cop car was being driven by Ramirez, okay? So his partner is running after Kane and Drew. They go around this corner, and Ramirez make up this excuse and was like, yo, you up here looking for them? The perps over there. Get them over there, okay? Get from over there. They don't down the street. We gotta go. You know what I'm saying? And so he saved they ass. And, he had to tell Monet what was going on too. Okay, you can't be out here doing this. Okay, if I wasn't there, he would have been in jail. Okay, and I was already there because they was already surveilling the place, and then they heard gunshots, and then look at this live or whatever. We caught his jacket up in there. That's the same jacket that Drew was wearing. So she is causing trouble. And Monet is getting stressed the fuck out, okay? This episode should have been called Stressed, okay? Because everybody was stressed out in this episode. Monet want to run things the way that she want to run things, but she can't because her husband is still got a stronghold over the family or whatever. He wants her to come down there to talk to her. Diane, her and Tariq going back and forth about wanting to meet up and thanking her for hooking that whole thing up with the Plan B pill and all that stuff or whatever. And, she can't meet up with him, want to meet up with him at the basketball game for Zeke or whatever. Come to find out that dummy couldn't even play the basketball. I would have been mad just like Monet was too. But anyway, so Monet had to go down there and to talk to Lorenzo, get his little conjugal visits or whatever. And I was like, y'all be talking about, I be looking at other people reviews, certain people reviews, they be talking about Mary J. Blige cannot act in this. Okay, now there was certain parts. I would be honest. There are certain parts I was like, Mary, girl, you could have did that scene a little bit better. Okay. But I'm going to let it go because I'm interested. But anyway, so, she got to go down there, talk to Lorenzo. Lorenzo is telling her basically, you have to do what I say. Okay. You can't run things. I don't really like the way that you're running things right now. But what I want at this particular point, I want you to stop babyfying Drew. Okay. You can't keep on babyfying Drew. We can't put Kane at the head of the business. Drew has to learn because he's the one that's going to take over. All right. Because he's the most level-headed person. And Kane too high-headed, and Diana ain't built like the boys. Okay. Mind you, Diana want to go to school. Okay, Diana want to go to school, probably want to go play basketball herself. Monet don't want her to do that. And she was like, well, you was cool with Zeke going to school. She said, Zeke ain't my child. You are. Okay. And so she calls her dad. She calls her daddy, and the daddy wind up telling Monet, you need to let Diana go to school. That's what she built for. She built to go to school, and that's what the plan was, okay? I'm going to do what I got to do to take care of you. You weren't supposed to be up in this predicament. I put us in this predicament, so I'm going to run this shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to have to force myself to run this shit. They get down there to the school, and Zeke supposed to have this basketball game. Mind you, Tariq is going crazy because Tariq got a paper to do for himself for his canonical studies, okay? Plus he got a paper that's due for Zeke, and then Zeke, dumbass, gonna tell him at the last minute, yo, I think I got a paper due either today, tomorrow, or next day, or something like that. I would have beat his ass, okay? First of all, Tariq, you playing a little bit too cool for me because that nigga would have got slapped. I would have jumped up and slapped his ass, okay? He probably would have hit me back, but at least I would have got a lick then. Because what you're not gonna do is you're not gonna have me up here helping and trying to save your ass, and you up here giving me information at the last minute, okay? The least you could do was give me the syllabus. Give me the goddamn syllabus when everything due so I can be on top of it, since y'all want me to do this nigga work for him, So he back there at the basketball game, and one of his Connor, the little white basketball teammate, he throwing shots at him or whatever because he's still on the bench, and he feel like he taking up his slack, and now girl, it was just a mess. Okay, the coach wanted him to go to the press conference after the game or whatever. Monet didn't know that Zeke was not going to be not going to be playing, so she basically came down there for no reason. And they did the press conference, and Connor was gloating about the fact that he was making all this waves and stuff, and Zeke had to tell him, well, you can chill out on that because I will be back at the next game. All right, forcing the coach's hand because he's on probation, and they don't know when he's going to get off of probation. That's why they got Tariq up in there doing all this stuff for him, And so at this moment, the coach is kind of pissed, so he just gets up and leaves too. Monet confronts Diana. Girl, you talk to your daddy, where the family burner at, okay? You talking about something you supposed to be going to school and all this stuff, where the family burner at? She go get the burner, after she done cussed Drew and Kane out, about the situation that happened because they didn't tell her about, the cops coming up on them or whatever. So, Diana go get the family burner, and come to find out, she didn't call the daddy on that phone, but Monet figured out that she had another phone on her that she called the daddy on, broke that bitch, and said, this is still my house, okay? I don't care what's going on or what you think gonna happen. This is still my house, and you gonna follow my rules. I was like, oh, okay, And so at this point, we got that situation going on, and Tariq, he wants time with Monet. Because, he he's out there doing the hustle thing. He put Epiphany to work to try to hustle one of these dealers to give him some money. I figured that's what that white boy was when she was up there, had him handcuffed and all that stuff, trying to force his hand to give him some product or whatever. That's what I feel. But he need more product. And he was getting enough, him and Braden, the little white boy that he roommates with, who he was friends with at Choke, him, his family owned the school basically, got the auditorium, got the gym and all that stuff. So he can go and intertwine himself in and out, the whole school or whatever without getting in trouble. So at this point, they gonna wind up working with each other and they selling product, but it's not enough money. It's not enough money and he needs some more, but he got a lot of money in a few hours. And he came into the room and he cussed out Zeke because Zeke was like, the reason why I wanted you to do this paper right now is because I got a whole bunch of stuff to do. And he come in there, Zeke playing video games. So, of course, he pissed off, and he was like, okay, if you want me to do this, you got to be on top of this shit. I'm up here busting my ass, filling papers my own damn self, trying to keep your ass up in here. And if you want to stay up in here, and if I'm supposed to be helping you and all this stuff, how am I supposed to help you if I flunk out of school? Okay. And it was like, okay, bruh, I'm gonna do better, whatever. She was like, the way you gonna make it up to me is you gonna put me in contact with your auntie. So Zeke lied to the auntie, to Monet, told her that, he was gonna be the only one in the room. So when he asked her to come down there, he was still there. Tariq was still there. She was like, I thought you said that you was going to be the only one. So they had a conversation. He was like, I just need 5 minutes from you, okay? And so Zeke went outside. Monet, she don't trust Tariq. As she shouldn't, okay? Because like she told Diana, what is this about Tariq? You need to stay away from him because either everybody that come across him either end up dead or in jail, okay? Don't trust that nigga, all right? We ain't trying to get close to nobody at this point. She's trying to gain control of this situation and stuff keep throwing at her. And Tariq just basically like, listen, he gave her a bag full of money. She was like, I don't need this. He was like, listen, I made this up here on this school in a few hours, okay? Listen, you and we need to come together. We need to, you supply me the product. I need to supply it and we can work on this stuff. It's all these kids do up here is party and study. That's it. Party and study. So, you can keep your name up out the box and, just let us rock. Just let us rock, okay? And so at this point, she was like, okay, cool. I think about it. She go talk to Lorenzo. Lorenzo want to know what's up with that. Mind you, Lorenzo got a dude, Bishop. Lorenzo runs the prison, okay? Lorenzo up in there having lunch with the goddamn guard, the police dude, okay? And I'm sitting here like, what? Got Bishop up there watching Tasha as she talked to old girl that she gave the Plan B pill to. And old girl like, why you trying to make friends up in the MC? People only stay up in here to until their trial is over, whatever. And you got Meredith, that's her name, Marshall Meredith. She over there looking, trying to see what's going on too. So everybody crooked. Everybody crooked. And so at this point, Mary J. Blige, aka Monet, tells Lorenzo about Tariq and this opportunity that he's presenting to her. And he was like, can you trust him? And she was like, no, but we're gonna need him for a minute. We'll use his ass for a minute. And then he was like, that's cool, I'll take care of this. So, Tasha had called Tariq while he was up there talking to Monet, and Monet let him take the phone call. And Tasha was like, girl, listen, Tariq, I really need you to hurry up and get this money. I need you to do what you need to do with Davis or whatever, because we got to get this ball rolling. I got to get the fuck up out of here. He's stressed out because he got to figure out where he gonna get all this money from. Okay, and at this point, he was like, okay, mom, cool. And so Tasha later on that night gets a phone call from Lorenzo who told her, your son finna be working with me, okay? And if he don't do what I say, he gonna wind up dead. I was like, damn. Okay, so that's how you gonna fix and finesse that. All right, cool. So we move on from that. Speaking of Tasha, the other main storyline in this season or in this episode was Well, let me get back on Tariq right quick. Because Tariq went to his little canonical studies. Of course, he was late again. I said, this is the third time you late. Baby, you can't be working on CP time and embarrassing us like that or whatever. They already thinking this and thinking probably that you dumb enough to be up in the grade or whatever. And you're going to be late each and every time. But see, Tariq got the professor together. Okay, Professor Simmons, I think that's his name, about the book that they were supposed to be reading. And he said, I think it's called The Apology or No Apology or something like that. And he actually read the whole book, and it was about Socrates and stuff like that. And I'm not finna go through all of what he said, but basically he said the opposite of what the professor was thinking, and he debunked some of the stuff. He gave an opposing view, an opposing opinion. And so, they tried to make it seem like he was being wrong with it, going against this and all this stuff. And like he said, even scholars can have the wrong, be debated against and have the wrong opinion and the wrong idea and the wrong viewpoint. Okay. He can be, he can have his own different viewpoint on it. It don't have to all be the same. And so he stood up for himself. And I was sitting here like, damn. So Tariq really is smart. You know what I'm saying? So, you got Professor Reynolds. He's standing back there looking at this, and he at first was like a little worried, but then as Tariq kept on talking and talking and talking and explaining himself, thoroughly, he's agreeing with him. Like, he's a little bit impressed himself. Like, okay, this black boy coming in here, I kind of pegged him wrong, but he's actually doing a good job. So when Tariq gets his paper back, mind you, Lauren had to tell him, you act just like my brother, just give him what he wants. You can't be embarrassing the professor like that, and you got to do what you got to do to stay up in the class and to pass and all this stuff. And so because of what she said, he wound up making his paper catering to the professor's view instead of writing the paper about what he said in the class, his own opinion, and because of that, he got it incomplete. And he asked the professor, why did he do that? And the professor was like, first of all, I don't know what you're talking about because I didn't grade the paper. Professor Reynolds is the one that graded the paper. So you need to take that up with him. So he go in there and he asked Reynolds, what's going on with that? And Reynolds was like, you should have wrote what you wrote down, what you said in your paper. In the class. That's basically it. Okay. You don't come into this environment to have the same opinion as everybody else. You're supposed to, have your own opinion and then defend that, and that's where he was coming from. And speaking of Professor Reynolds, he in there chit-chatting with one of his graduate students, okay, who was coming on hella strong. I read your first book, even though I was a teenager. I'm adult now. I want to be just like the girl that you wrote it about, okay? I don't care if it's fiction, but I'm your graduate student, okay? Let me do this for you. And next thing you know, they start kissing. And he was trying to call Professor Milgram earlier, but she won't answer his phone calls. She pops up, just so happened to pop up to go to her office. She hear the music playing up in his room, his office, and she hearing thumping or whatever, because at first he wasn't gonna fuck that girl. He wound up fucking that girl. And then she overheard her, oh my God, Jabari. I was like, girl. I said, first of all, I ain't like her moans, okay? I said, this was forced, okay? I said, you was giving porn star moans. Give me some real moans, okay? Give me that real shit. But she packed her shit and left. I said, girl, the life of a sex addict. I said, I thought she was finna go out that room and go over there and try to join them and have a threesome or some shit. She's sex addiction and she addicted to him. So, hey, I didn't know. She went the opposite direction, but I was proud of her for not going over there and trying to cuss him out or whatever, because that ain't your man. Okay, just because y'all had a little sexy sex, you know what I'm saying? That ain't your man. But meanwhile, back to Tasha. After Tasha do all that with the inmate, she get a surprise court appearance, and she was confused about what was going on. Miss Girl Paula then took her to a whole glam squad, got her a new wig and everything, makeup done, new clothes and all this stuff, so that they can do a mock trial. Because earlier they were sitting down there and Davis was like, you got to convince me how you gonna convince the jury that you want the queen pin. And everybody know that she not the queen pin, and they figuring this out. But Tasha want to be put on the stand. Paula is like, that is not gonna work, okay? But Davis said, okay, we'll put you on the stand. Paula like, what the hell? And he was like, I know it ain't gonna work, but our client don't know that it ain't gonna work. So that's the reason why they did this little mock trial with the mock jury that they all paying for. And or I should say Tasha is paying for. I said, ain't that about a bitch? I didn't ask for this and now I gotta pay out of pocket for this? What? Okay. And so she was like, watch me work. She get up there on the stand and, defending herself about James and how, she got with him when she was 19. She was in accounting school. She wanted to become a singer. He took over everything. How she found out that he was doing some dirty stuff. She was pregnant with her twins and, they got pulled over by the cops and he gave her a gun, told her to hide it in her maternity dress and all this stuff or whatever. And basically painted herself out to be the victim in this whole thing. Like the reason why she told Tommy to kill Gels was the only reason why, the only way that she felt like, she can get out of this situation and, she still loved him, but yes, she was still being abused and all this stuff. And so she kind of won a jury over in that part. But then that was just the defense. Okay, so now you have to have the prosecutor to come in and cross-examine her, right? So who do they get to be the prosecutor in this mock trial? They get Tamika in her new wig, okay? To this newfound Tamika with her new hair and her new clothes and everything. She's a bad bitch, okay? She ain't playing. All right. First of all, she's still a little salty that she was on this case, and she doubly salty that what's her face dropped her from the case, fired her, or whatever. And so she came in guns a-blazing, and she was just like, you trying to say this and all this stuff. You trying to make it seem like Ghost was the one that killed Terry Silver. You the one that killed him, or whatever, because you the queen pin, because he found out what y'all was doing or whatever, so you had Ghost kill him and all this stuff, and woo, 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 woo. She tripped her up. She tripped her up and had her shook. And at this point, she realized that, because the jury came back and they all found her guilty, and she was like, it was even women on the jury and they found me guilty. And so at this point, Davis tried to get Tamika to come over onto their side, and Tamika was like, no bitch, I ain't got time for this. And he was like, but what about this whole shit with Sax? You only on this case because of Sax. Okay, what is it about him that got you wanted to be on his case and all this stuff? And, he got into some trouble or whatever. So what he do? And she was like, how you know about that? He was like, I pulled some records. I was able to get my hands on some stuff. She said, listen, bitch, at the end of the day, Sax ain't the shit. He full of shit. He ain't nothing. But you ain't finna get me to come over there with you. Okay? Now I'll expect my check later. Okay? I want my money later. I said, oops, And at this point, Paula has had it. Okay? Paula has had it. She said, listen, you have got to end this shit now, okay? You can tell that we ain't gonna win this. You need to just end this shit, okay? And he was like, no. This is our time not to end it yet, but to keep it going, because this case is not about Tasha St. Patrick Green, okay? This case ain't even about ghosts. This case is about Cooper Sax. That's what is going on. I said, oh, so that's what we happening, huh? And so, he's not giving up on that. And Tasha, is still in it for the long haul. We don't know how it's going to work out with her. But that's basically everything that I feel like happened, that I remember happening on Power tonight. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I feel like, because usually my reviews be over 30 minutes, but today it's like less than. But y'all tell me how y'all feel about it. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. Let me ask this question though. Remember, I said in the beginning that I was more so focused on the Tejada family, Monet and them. They were more interesting to me than it was the situation with Tasha and Tariq or whatever. Who is getting your attention more? In these past 3 episodes that we have, are you more focused on Tariq and Tasha, or trying to figure out how Monet and her family gonna do it, or is this another aspect that's taking your focus? Put it down in the comments, and yeah, I will see you guys later. Peace.